Seriously, I don't even know what's going on right now. Because I'm offline. Okay. Well, hmm, which is odd. Which, odd because Twitch says I'm live, so it feels freaking weird. Yeah, 1 second. 1 second here. Be like friggin' death nail right here for friggin' Twitch for me. All right, so we'll do that right there. There we go. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Wouldn't be streaming if things weren't just complete garbage right now. So there we go. All right. Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back. It's the new year. It's 2025, and I'm just keeping an eye out on everything. I'm just I don't know what the hell's going on with Twitch, but yeah, which kind of sucks because I watched some videos over the holidays that said Twitch and YouTube are good for two different reasons. Like Twitch is good for the live portion, and you actually make a lot of your, mm, I don't know, money. In this case, the person was talking about monetization, but they're saying you don't make money on Twitch, but you make money on the VODs on YouTube. So I was like, well, okay, it makes sense to continue using Twitch, but if I can't even get Twitch to work properly, I don't understand what's going on there. So yeah, good times, good times. Because yeah, it was really weird why I'm only seeing like 20 minutes of video here on the stream. So um, okay, that's really interesting. Okay, so now the stream is showing up uh, and counting down on Twitch. Um, maybe they don't allow for like 10 minutes of stoppage. So now I just have to watch the Twitch stream output. Hey, Ango Rongo. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming and hanging out. Coming and hanging out. I was gonna like hook up StreamerBot on the stream so I could mix, both the YouTube and the Twitch streams that are happening. There we go. But yeah, it's I bought a brand new computer. It will be here hopefully before I go to New York next week on a work trip. The problem is it's currently sitting somewhere between Hong Kong and San Diego. Thank you, Apple. So I bought a brand new maxed out M4 from Apple to try to consolidate my environment. I have at least two computers and a laptop that I realized that if I had just bought something that's going to last a little longer, I wouldn't have had three laptop or three computers in my lab here. So yeah, it'll be here. It says 13th, which is sucky because I will be in New York City when it happens. So we'll have to work that out. Y'all didn't pay for that. I just wanted it because I wanted to be able to do DaVinci Resolve and a bunch of. Actually, I wanted to use it instead of streaming. So I'll probably test it out, see how it works. I may end up having to keep my streaming box. I don't know, but yeah, that's where we're at. Um, okay, so people are still joining my stream, even though it's dead. This sucks. Twitch sucks, man. What the fuck? Anyway, ba, 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 problem is I can't turn the Twitch off because if I do, it'll turn off the YouTube. So apologies to our CHR and our CHR. Anyway, yeah, I'll just upload the the VOD later on Twitch just to satisfy the masses. And so yeah, um, where did I go? I went on vacation. I was in the Caribbean. I was on a cruise ship. I got to enjoy uh, fast internet on a ship, which surprisingly was fast, to the point I was able to stream Netflix and watch, NFL football because that's what we do here. Chargers were playing, and we wanted to watch them. And in addition to that, streaming some YouTube stuff. And the ship had basically you pay for higher tiered internet, which gives you like quality of service. It gives you the ability to be put in a different VLAN potentially, which allows you to get around region blocks or whatever. I'm sure I could have used a VPN and bypassed whatever block that was, but it felt kind of dishonest. So we went ahead and used that. Um, Between me and my daughter and my wife, I think we made good use of the internet that was on the ship. I don't think it ever went down, which was quite good. So I don't know what they're using, if it's Starlink or what have you. So, but yeah, um, got some news. I think there's been a lot going on while I was gone. There was all the telecoms got owned up, which yeah, I mean they're going to get owned. A lot of back doors, and I think CISA had mentioned, hey, don't use, and that may have happened before I left. But yeah, it was a lot of interesting things happened. So one of the ones that I think I've been chatting with recently with somebody was that Windows 10 is going to go away at like the mid-year 2025, meaning end of life, end of service, no more security updates. And there was a few people on Reddit who were like, oh, it's awful. Windows 10 is going to go away. What about all these people that can't put Windows 11 on their boxes? And I think the articles had said it was going to affect like 60% of the computers in the world. Yeah, 60%. So um, there we go. Small browser, small output. Okay. Why is my browser window so tiny? Oh, I don't need a focus right on there. Okay. Edge browsers is. Well, let's just kill the chat since nobody can actually chat on there. Up display capture. There it is. Okay. Big and eight this. There we go. So we have Windows 10 support this year threatens 60% of active Windows PCs, which that is a fairly decent size of PCs. In this case, there's a lot of folks that are worried. I think, and for good reason. If you're working in an organization, if you're um, dealing with having to purchase new hardware, that can be a problem. That can be a problem if you don't have the TPM chips needed to install Windows 11. You're not likely to do any kind of weird workarounds with your IT department to get that to work properly, and you're going to run into some issues where you're going to have to make some purchases. You're going to have to buy new servers, new hardware, new infrastructure, and that's gonna cause some undue stress and strain for hardware refreshes as well. You're going to have you're going to need some kind of migration plan. You're going to need something that is, you're going to need training, I think, for some folks, because it may be a change in technology for many folks like that. What I find interesting is that uh, a lot of people were upset about the fact that, and I think that the big issue is they say, despite Microsoft's best efforts, only about 30% of users have upgraded to Windows 11. It's a non-zero amount of money for some folks. You buy a computer just before Windows 11 comes out, thinking, hey, I'll be able to upgrade. That doesn't happen. I actually bought a streaming box myself. I think anybody who's been on for any amount of time for streaming remembered my issues because I installed Windows 11 on a Windows 10 box that wasn't actually able to install Windows 10. There were a couple of streams that got interrupted because of green screens of death and hypervisor issues. Um, and then that's why I upgraded to the current streaming box that I have now. But so, what does it mean for people who don't work in business? And I'll open that up to questions, because I'd like to hear people's thoughts on that. What does it mean to not have a box in your environment? And I'm not talking about a business necessarily, because we all have these boxes in our businesses that can't be upgraded. I mean, there's always the apocryphal stories of, oh, I went in and they're running Windows 2000 box, and we're on NT, or 2000, or it's an XP box, or it's a 7, or there's always a box in your organization that's running something so mission critical that the developers or the product team or the IT don't want to mess with it. The walled up server inside of the apocryphal story that everybody has, where, oh, I found one that was embedded inside some drywall and nobody played with it because it just worked. For people who are home users, what does that mean? If you have a Windows 10 box and you're sitting there and you're worried about having to upgrade to Windows 11, what does that mean for people to not have that ability? I'm going to stop talking for a second because I want to look at something on OBS here real quick. Close that. But please, I would love to hear some thoughts in the chat, in the YouTube chat, if people have thoughts on what that means. I've been learning Blender. I've been trying to work on my motion graphics. Also been trying to do the donuts for Blender, etc. Let's see, what do they say? Once end of support could put Windows devices at risk. Without official updates, millions of businesses and personal systems could become vulnerable to cyber attacks and other security threats. As it approaches its 10th anniversary, so Windows 10 is 10 years old, it's the most widely used Windows operating system by far. And 65% of devices in Germany. 32 million are still running Windows 10. Globally, 62% of devices as of December 2024. That's pretty cool. In contrast, Windows 11 has only crawled up to 34% since its debut in 2021. Well, this would be because a lot of systems that are out there don't support Windows 11. And so my thought, since we've not got much in the way of input from chat, there's going to be people that are not going to upgrade to Windows 10 or Windows 11. Sorry. What does that mean? They're not going to get security updates. Okay. Are they? You can come in. You were in here earlier. Why did you get down? Come here. Come on. Come here. You don't have to. You can get up here if you want. Come on. There you go. All right. Yeah. Yeah. They're not going to get security updates. And for the most part, I don't think personal users, barring security people, care. I mean, that came up when we were talking about it inside of Reddit, and they're like, "Oh, people aren't going to get security updates," and I'm like, "People don't run updates anyway." I mean, it took Microsoft forcing them to get those updates to even care, and there was a lot of there was a lot of uproar on that. Like, let me see. See, I mean, right here, boom, 3 years ago, 2021. I'm tired of forced updates that are ruining my work life. This is a person who goes to work at work. Thank you, Tiago, for helping me prove my point. And and of course, somebody very hopefully is trying to, bypass any IT requirements that will disable updates on Windows 10 permanently. Great. We had, I mean, we've even in 2024, we still have people going, oh, it's automatically updating my stuff. I don't want to be updated. Feature updates or an actual upgrade as it is. Microsoft's about to give a bunch of people what they want. They're not going to get updates anymore. No features, no pushes of updates. They're going to get what they wanted, right? Um, I think this is probably a win for a lot of folks who are tired of, having these automatic updates pushed on them. From a security point of view, it's probably not all that good. But then I have to remind myself, when we get Windows security issues, hackers and threat actors are targeting businesses. They're not targeting residential users or Joe Nobody. Uh, a lot of the software that you're going to run on Windows 10 will continue to run on Windows 10. Browsers, for instance, will continue to get updates until such a point they won't get patched. Like a 32, I think the difference between Windows 10 and Windows 11 is not the same necessarily as like when they said we'll no longer support 32-bit OSs and 64-bit OSs, where it's like you're just not going to get updates for your browser anymore. You're going to continue using Firefox, whatever the last version supporting 32-bit. Uh, a lot of the attacks that we're going to continue to receive, whether or not it's Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 12, Windows 7, Windows 98, whatever, come in the browser, come in email. Most users are going to get, and I think I mentioned that. Where was I post that? I said, yeah, I said I had, pushed Windows 11 to a machine that didn't work. Um, you know, I said, CVE 2024, whatever, is not, will it affect Joe Nobody? It might. It depends on how the CVEs are weaponized. I would say the bigger issue for a lot of users is your internet can be disconnected. Send a $20 iTunes gift card to your internet provider to save your internet. Walter, thank you, Walter. On my work laptop, the update to Windows 11 caused it to blue screen or brick 3 times. Then I got a UEFI firmware update and the installation worked. The update was pretty seamless at that point. Yeah, so the work from home is going to make the migration process complicated. For folks that don't have an office to go to, um, there's gonna, if your laptops don't support the 10 to 11 easily, like Walt said, got a firmware update that caused the issue, caused an issue, and then it got better, right? Um, you're going to have work from home people that are going to have to spend a couple hours maybe updating their stuff. You might actually have to go through and go, hey, run this to run a backup of your system, or critical data that might be on the system, just in case you happen to blue screen the box. But a lot of the backup and migration stuff is going to be either the box will support the upgrade, or mail your old laptop in and here's a brand new laptop. That kind of, or desktop, or what have you. I think a lot of the problems that we're going to have or continue to have for folks that have a personal box that can't upgrade to Windows 11 are going to be the same ones they had when they had Windows. When they go to Windows 11, Windows 11 is not going to solve or save people from themselves. The user is still going to click on an email asking them to pay their internet by an iTunes gift card, or um, any browser issues that come up are still going to get patched. I doubt that there's going to be any reason why Chrome or Edge or Firefox are going to immediately drop support for Windows 10 overnight. I would say they've got another couple of years maybe before they'll go, yeah, we're not going to support Windows 10 anymore. Um, yeah, There's definitely software. I mean, if you're using software on your machine, like I've got like with VLC down here, I've got OBS, I've got Slack, I've got VS Code, Insiders, I've got, 1Password. None of these softwares, which will also have vulnerabilities of their own, will stop working with Windows 10 or Windows 11 in this case. So I think the stories that you're going to read in the next few months about, oh, this is going to cause all kinds of issues, you don't want to upgrade immediately. You don't have to. I would say keep updating the software you do have. Um, Try to think more critically about the actions you're going to do on your old ass box that's not going to get security updates. Um, ESET, of course, is warning, all the FUD in the world because they run an antivirus software that they would love for you to download and install on your Windows 10 box because, garbage. Um, but I think a lot of the vulnerabilities that we're going to continue to see, even after people upgrade to Windows 11, will be things that would have affected them if they hadn't upgraded to Windows 11. Uh, Social engineering, for instance, or scams or emails, where, like I said, with the iTunes gift cards and bits. Um, and of course, Microsoft does want you to update to Windows 11 because it's really more important than a new fridge, TV, or phone. Come on, man. Yeah, facepalm, exactly. Year of Windows 11 PC refresh. Now that Windows AI PC, yeah, I'm not all in on the AI PC stuff yet, but yeah, Vice President, Chief Marketing Officer. Of course, the Chief Marketing Officer is like, yes, let's make that happen. No, no, no. Tone deaf as shit right there. I mean, I like Copilot. I've been using Copilot. I don't hate it. Um, but it's not worth the upgrade to Windows 11, I think, yet. Um, and again, they're not going to leave Windows 10 in the dust. If you really like your Copilot, you'll probably be able to use it on there if you want to. Um, but yeah, um, campaign been a rousing success. I think one of two things is going to happen. People are going to upgrade and buy a computer to go to Windows 11, or enough people are going to continue using Windows 10 and Microsoft will remove the TPM requirements so that more people can adopt Windows 11. I'm not exactly sure why they're doing the Windows 11 bit, in with TPM, other than encryption maybe. Um, I actually don't run BitLocker on any of my boxes. I just don't care enough. And if I have to ever move a hard drive across, I'm a really bad security person. 10, 15-year-old me would have been like all, grinding on my old ass right here. But I'm just more pragmatic me. 10, 15 years ago would have been like, yeah, Windows 11, gotta get it. It's going to be awesome. Security updates. But I'm not feeling the upgrade because I think a lot of our vulnerabilities are going to be software based, but not necessarily OS based. I mean, yes, there's going to be crushingly bad vulnerabilities every month, but those aren't weaponized against personal devices at scale like that, unless you're just, unless your laptop is directly connected to the internet. I'd love to entertain thoughts. If you're worried about upgrading to Windows 11, I'm sure that there's reasons. Everybody complained about the telemetry in Windows 10. Hey Bear, how you doing? Oh yes, my kitty. Yes, that's my mama kitty. Um, she did fairly well. Yes, it's mama kitty. Yep, your camera's over here. You're looking at the wrong camera. It's over here, that way. Gotta look that direction. You're not doing it right. Hours of training, and she still can't look in the camera in the right direction. So, hey Bear, yeah, happy New Year to you. Yeah, I'm trying to be more pragmatic about my security as I get older, and it's because I realize that maybe a lot of companies also can't afford the upgrade to Windows 11 either. And so um, that's going to, if you're a small business or a medium business and you're going to be looking at solutions to secure your Windows environment. So that's going to look like, you're going to have, and no matter what you pick, you're going to have CVSS 10s, your Cisco's, your F5s, your Blue Coats, your Fortinets, all of your edge devices are probably going to be the things that you should worry about more than whether or not your Windows 10 is updated or not. Um, you're going to need email controls. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we're still purchasing and buying, the best practices that are causing us to have to spend time and effort is still, there you go. Now you're looking at the camera now. There we go. Are still the same things you're going to continue buying. Buying a new OS is like $200 for a license or something. Um, but I want to go look up the vulnerability here. So let's see, Windows CVE. There we go, Windows CVE 10. Okay, so um, here's one that's right at the top of the list. 8.4 was issued in September, updated September 30th. All right. So a DLL hijacking caused by drive remapping combined with poisoning of the activation cache in when Microsoft Windows 10, 11, 16, 19, and 2022 allows a malicious authenticated attacker to elevate from a medium integrity process to a high integrity process without intervention of a UAC prompt. Okay, that one's okay. That was not a that's not a problem that you know America or personal devices are going to have to deal with. Okay, low privilege. Okay, denial of service and CLFS.sys allows a malicious, authenticated, low privilege user to cause a blue screen of death by a forced call. Okay, so most personal boxes you're running as a local admin anyway. That's not going to change in Windows 11. You'll run as a local admin. So low privileged users, you got local admin, you got root, right? Power VR image compression, and later in GPU devices, software transparent compression, uh, SVG filters specification. Okay, for example, attackers can sometimes accurately determine text contained on a web page from one origin if they control the resource from a different origin. Okay, so that's an interesting one. For the most part, I would say if you keep your browsers up to date, you start thinking and asking questions about should I click on this? Is this a scam? Is this trying to take advantage of me in some way? Uh, and oh, wait, my bad. Sorry. I thought I clicked over, but Jesus. Okay. So yeah, I'm still working on these things. So there's different things that could cause you issues. And I'm not saying that you're completely safe from all of these things, but a lot of a lot of what threat actors are going to go for is they're not going to go for Joe Bob Billy sitting at home on their computer. There's bigger fish to fry. There's bigger profits to be had in companies. Uh, you got down again. You can come in here. It's fine. Yeah. I just think that there's going to be a lot of FUD coming out this year about, oh my God, you need to upgrade to Windows 11. And I don't know how much of that is driven by the marketing department at Microsoft or the FUD from antivirus manufacturers or people who are just, patch all the things. And so, um, yeah, that's my thought. That's my rant on that. I'd love for anybody to tell me I'm stupid in the chat. But I'm just thinking in a pragmatic form or pragmatic point of view. There's a lot of refurbished stuff that's going to be coming out that potentially will run Windows 11. I mean, the other option would be to I want to say you can install Linux, but no. If you're using Windows right now, you got to have a real want to move to Linux. And I think if you haven't moved to Linux already in the last 10 years when running Windows 10, you're not going to do that. And I don't know about you, but I'm a little too old to be troubleshooting every family member's Linux distribution and where's my start button. So um, that's where I am right now with regards to just I have Windows 11 on all my stuff. I have my Surface Pro 8 here. I've got my Lenovo box. I'm running Windows 11 here on the streaming box right now. When I get my new computer next week, it'll be running OS X 15.2 or whatever. But yeah, I guess it's again, it's the year of the risk management. I've read that Microsoft is going to offer extending warranty support $30 for Windows 10 to home non-enterprise users. That's great. That's great. That's a great thing. They're going to make fat loot because if you want to continue getting support for your devices, um, I mean, I heard a story, and I don't know about the veracity of it, but when they had dropped support for Windows XP to U.S. Navy, United States Navy, had not completely moved over to Windows 7 in this case. And the story I heard was they're paying like $30-40 million a year to have extended support for Windows XP. But yeah, the $30 is great. Um, that's not bad. I mean, it depends on if that's a year or, I mean, at some point they're going to keep raising the cost of that. So like when it goes EOL, it'll be $30. In 2026, it may be $60. There's going to come a point where it's going to be like, well, I could have paid $500 for a brand new laptop that had Windows 11 on it, or I could have bought a $200 Chromebook, or there's a ton of things. It's going to become a value proposition at some point where it's be like, this is doesn't make any sense to keep supporting an old OS. And then, you've got maybe 3, 4, 5 more years, and then it'll be like, yeah, we're not going to support Windows 10 anymore. But that's great that they've got that. Enterprise users get it for $60 a user. It doubles. Yeah, so yeah, there you go, Walt. Every year it's going to get more expensive for companies. So I think the bigger thing right now for people and companies are going to be like, what's your mitigation plan? If you haven't already thought about what that looks like, you're you're going to be spending. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, Walt. Um, it's a yeah. If you haven't started thinking about what your migration plan is, either migrating everybody off of that and onto Mac OS, or which another whole paradigm shift if you've got people that are doing that, um, or you know, moving to Windows 11. So you know, it's going to be cheaper. You're going to be spending how many? If you got 10,000 seats, you're going to pay $60 per user for a seat. For 10,000 seats, that's $60,000. It may be worth it to not spend a ton of money at this point, but you've got to have a migration plan, which is just going to get more expensive, to Walt's point. Um, yeah, yeah. So let me see. I was also looking at, because I also like to continue learning. One of the things that I have been reviewing has been looking at like the ML or AI certifications that are coming out from the companies like AWS and Microsoft and Google. Um, Everyone seems to have a list of certification and training courses for ML or AI. And because, I'm not the smartest, they have certificate specializations for AWS. I think Microsoft has one similar. I think Google has one as well. Um, Not bad, 180 minutes to complete the exam, $300, 65 questions, multiple choice or multiple response. The thing that kills me is the fucking Pearson VUE. I just hate that organization. It's hot garbage. But they're the only game in town right now, so you can't do them online. But they have um, different training and certification classes for these things. Uh, where was They had like a whole list and it was like, oh, if you're going to go through AL or ML or AI route, you're going to need these handful of things. But I actually probably can get a discount. I'm not sure. So, oh, certification. Yeah, choose your certification path or select certification. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is what I was looking at. I was actually looking like solutions architect. So there's, different ones you can do for that, optional for IT or cloud. And then you can go for the associate or the professional version. The AI and ML stuff. There's quite a few for that. I don't do DevOps, but and then they have cloud security engineer. So I was looking at different certifications to get spun up on AI and ML for the next year or two because it's not going anywhere, and it feels like if you don't understand it, you're going to be behind the eight ball trying to get hired or positioned. So thought it might be smart to go and poke around on some of that, like solutions architect or what have you. A lot of organizations like that on resumes as well. So, um, and you can go at your own pace, and a lot of organizations will pay for that training. So yeah. Um, Let me see. What was I scorecarding? Anybody else attempting to do some training this year? Any kind of certifications or anything like that they're going for? I don't hate on certifications. I have plenty of them myself. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be going to do some threat intelligence courses, not course, but it's a seminar or webinar with SANS to get more certification credits for my incident handling and my web app pen testing course. Which, to be honest, I haven't done the web app pen testing in years, but it's always good to have on paper. So. Yeah, so cloud practitioner, AI practitioner, recommended for IT cloud professionals to secure. This is probably one that I would probably start with, the AI practitioner one. I'm not sure I'd go to the SysOps administrator, but actually I'll just probably skip down here to this one so I can do the cloud security architect. But everybody's doing AI, everybody's doing ML, and um, it's helpful. I think it'll be good. Maybe it's something I can do on the stream here as I go through my training, and we can all learn how to be an AI practitioner together. And then I'll just take the test and show you how well it works. So yeah, they've got a whole big thing here for AI and ML prompt engineers. None of these kind of fit what I want to do. Tempted to do an online master's with Georgia Tech. And in what, Walt? Uh, hey, Mike. Digital Warhead. Hey. Mike, I did try to stream on Twitch again. I didn't even get past the startup screen when everything just kind of shit itself. So I don't know what's going on. I thought lowering the bandwidth and everything would work, or the bit rate would work, but it did not. So, which kind of sucks. But I'll try to upload the VOD later. So, computer science. Oh, I would be interested in understanding what goes for computer science these days. You gonna quit your shit. Exactly, Mike. Um, yeah, I wonder what's the you have a link to that, Walt? Do you have like a synopsis or what they'll teach you at the comp sci? How long that'll take you to do? A couple of years? Interesting. Georgia Tech. I don't think my wife would let me go there. That's an SEC school. She's a Razorback, so I don't think she'd let me go to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech computer science. Well, why did I think that you had a computer science degree already? So the one thing, yeah, why would you want a master's in computer science? I'm just trying to figure that out. Is it because a master's would seem to be like you'd want to go beyond. If you got a bachelor's already in it, why would you want a master's in it? What benefit are you seeing from going that route in that? I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just trying to figure out. You have a BS in CS. Okay, I have a BS in IT. And then I've got certifications, but I was just wondering what the CS masters will get you. Are you wanting this is the program I'm almost finished with. I just earned my CYSA over the break. Hey, congratulations, Digital Warhead, or Mike in this case. um, because I'm interested in two more classes. Awesome, awesome. Yeah. I would say this is the time of year where you want to, see what your budget is like at your organization, and if possible, get those courses. Um, maybe not SANS unless they can swing that. Um, there are um, other courses you can do. I heard that. Sorry, I heard that offensive security is raising their prices. No links on YT. Really? Oh, maybe it's only just me. Hold on, let me grab a grab a safe link here. Oh, sorry, I've been okay. I can. Interesting. For learning to get more up to date. Oh, okay, that's fine. WGU's BSCSIA. Okay. Yeah, I was. Somebody had asked that the other day, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I've already got my bachelor's in cybersecurity. I want to get my master's in cybersecurity." And I was like, "Why?" You know, I felt like if you're going to get a master's, get it in something that will move you further um, in your career. And I was thinking of an MBA or something like that, which I hate that somebody about 25 years ago suggested the same thing to me, and I told him he was full of shit. Um, Damn it, Steve. I gotta look him up. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like probably should have gotten my master's in my MBA. So, and the way I understand it now, like WGU's got a fairly decent online MBA. But yeah, um, I saw this article. Is this the article I'm? I think this is it. Nope, that's a different one. Uh, let me switch off here for a second. And you can just look at my pretty face. I have to find something on Reddit that somebody had sent me. Yes, there were some metrics that somebody had put out about last year's vulnerabilities. That there it is. So somebody had posted up on vulnerability.blog, which I will post up here. There we go. And so there we go. It's titled, and it came out yesterday. Vulnerability or CVEs reserved per year as a proxy for U.S. economic conditions and outlook. This came out on Reddit. Somebody posted it on Reddit. I actually had some feedback with them. They'd flipped the chart around, so it was actually in reverse, where the years were, it went up and then it went down, and that was showing like year after year. I was like, why is the chart flipped? And somebody said, oh, good feedback. I'll fix that. And somebody said, oh, they're doing an analysis of 2024's list. And I think Mark Rogers, um, who's actually got some issues, Mark Rogers, Mark W. Rogers. Yeah, this gentleman here, he had posted up something on Twitter about some metrics for 2024. Let's see, here it is. Uh, no, different mark, no, different one. Um, anyway, uh, so yeah, vulnerability.blog. I'll go back. I'll try to find the Mark Rogers thing and I'll post it up on just on our Discord. So they said TLDR, corporate spending on cybersecurity is often tied to economic outlook. Higher spending in cybersecurity generally results in more vulnerabilities published each year. And there was a decrease of about 0.4% and aligns with high unemployment rates. Now, there's a lot to unpack here on that, but um, got employer paid tuition as well. I was going to ask about that next year. Don't ask next year, this year. Do it this year. Don't put off what you can start this year. And Walt, the reason I say that is layoffs are a bitch. And not saying you will get laid off, but if you don't take advantage of it now, then you should probably get started. Um, no time like the present. You know what I mean? And anything you can get out of your company before they decide they want to get rid of you because they want to save $10 while giving their CEOs $10 million bonuses is always a positive. But yeah, so this was the diagram that kind of caught me. They said CVS has published, obviously, there's been major increases. The red lines indicate a decrease when the economic outlook hasn't been so rosy, like 2008 when the subprime mortgage bubble happened. Um, so when companies are trying to tighten the budget, this person is trying to say that they let's see, in 2024, they fell, the number of CVEs reserved fell by 7% roughly. Here's a large round of uh, tech layoffs impacting 264,000 people, 151,000 people in 2024. This one seems obvious and easy to explain from a high level. Tech employees were laid off, so there was less code to test and less cyber employees to identify vulnerabilities. So what the person is saying is less CVE reservations is indicative of the fact that not much code is being pushed because there's less people employed and there's less cyber security people to review those vulnerabilities. Okay, sure. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, okay. Good ball. Um, I mean, I guess you could make that. I guess you could make that leap in that case if there's less people looking at the code and there's less code. Um, there would be less CVs. I always thought that they reserved the CVs at the beginning of the year. So maybe that's an indicator that there is layoffs coming. I don't know how you would make that kind of delineation and how people would go, well, we're going to have layoffs this year, so we need less CVEs. I'm not sure that those two things are simpatico. It's just interesting. I mean, it could, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you could also say, and why wasn't there a bigger drop in 2020? Because there was more people staying at home, more people being hired. There should have been more vulnerabilities between 2020 and 2021, but it shows that there was a marked decrease here. Um, I the layoffs actually didn't start until 2023, which you would have expected that to go up. I don't know how the person's making their choices here. Um, But it's interesting. So it says, would a drop in the published CVEs during the year be a strong signal of upcoming unemployment or economic downturns? I appreciate the thought process here with the person, but I'm not exactly sure that those kinds of decisions are made based on whether or not layoffs are going to occur. Um, and not and just because they're CVEs are not necessarily always reported by businesses themselves. They're determined by the people. A lot of them are found externally. So I don't know if maybe maybe there were more people looking for jobs and didn't have enough time to do bug bounties, and there was a drop of CVEs because of that. I mean, there could be any number of reasons for that. I'm just, I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts on this? I mean, what, I put the link up in here, but I'm like, I don't know. What is this? Oh, they're looking at the unemployment rate in 20, yeah, it was a set of 2020. The unemployment rate, of course, was really high then, um, which was ironic because I actually got hired in 2020 in my current joint, February. Oh, sorry, February 2021. So, yeah, I guess I was starting to catch right about there. So, um, yeah, interesting. Since the CVE program in its infancy in 1999-2001, there are no strong correlations related to the dot-com bubble and CVEs published, unfortunately. Well, security was a security was way different back then. I don't even think you call that dot-com bubble. Yeah, I'm curious if these correlations in your opinion are strongly linked or just coincidental. Say I would say borderline coincidental. I think that there's other things going on, perhaps. Um, you could argue that 2015 I think was when they started publishing for more software. So yeah, I think there's a lot going on here with this to have that kind of deal. So um, I don't know. I'd have to read through all of the documentation that the person has here. Their CV metrics. I think this is kind of cool. So they have this is metrics for CVE.org. Which, there we go. CVE record contains descriptive data, brief description, at least one reference about a vulnerability associated with CVE ID. CVE records are published by CVE numbering authorities or CNAs, sorted by year, oldest or newest oldest. So they don't have the numbers for 2024 yet, but they had 29,004 for the first 3 quarters of 2024. So that's going to probably exceed. Let me see if the numbers hold. It looks like they don't vary too much by year, and about 3 to 400. So we can assume a slight bump here, but assuming this is another 8,000 or so, we're going to be looking at around 37,000 CVEs in 2024 total, probably anywhere between 36.5 and 37.5, um, which that's a lot. I mean, that's more than any other to date. So we've had the most possible. In 2024, 37,000 CVE IDs were reserved because that's how they do now. They don't ask for them. So Microsoft is going to get like 4,000 numbers. Google's going to ask for X number. Amazon's going to ask for an X number. Cisco's going to ask for X number, and they're just going to have a block of those. So the first Microsoft CVE of the year will be like 8,000 something because that's their almost like an IP block, right? Google may have the 5,000 block, and then they might have the 5 to 7,000 block, and then the 10 to 12,000 block. Um, and they may not use all of them, or they may use more than they have, kind of like IPs. Like we need another, 2,000 or so in a block. Let me see, CVE record publications by all CNAs combined. CVE CNAs of last resort, CISA and MITRE. Okay. Yeah, so 2017 was when they started with having CVE or CNAs other than MITRE and CISA, of course, showed up. So CVE partners added by year, so more CNA partners are coming up. Certified numbering authorities, CNA been active due to corporate mergers or changes in business activity. So I don't know what it takes to actually become a CNA, but there are definitely more that are coming up. So in January they had 10. 2025 so far they already have 3 just in the 7 days. So they've been working on this, but So they have 88 at least. Of course, they said it fluctuates, so that's interesting. Of course, they didn't have any after what, or 2015. They had one up until, okay, that makes sense. Enrichment recognition. So here's all the CNAs that are helping with enrichment. Sorry, I'm geeking out on vulnerability management. Apologies. Yeah, so I don't see a lot of discussion on this article here other than what I had put down in there. Um, yeah, see, you can see it was backwards. So I asked them, why did you do that? Flip it around. Um, but yeah, so there's going to be more vulnerabilities. I don't think that the number of, I don't know if the number of vulnerabilities is going to change or if it's going to shift. I think what we're going to see is a lot more vulnerabilities due to AI and ML. Hey, I'm making a prediction. Look at that. I didn't. I waited until the new year to start making predictions. I think we're going to start seeing more and more. I don't know how they're going to name them or number them. And again, that's one of the reasons I wanted to go through and work on like an ML certification. One, because it looks good on a resume. But two, it's like I don't know enough about AI and ML to speak intelligently about it. And one of the things I want to do is be able to do that at a better level at work, and also when we go and talk to people or interview people here. So yeah, yeah. So hey, where's some of the other things? Oh no, that was Black Magic Fusion. CVE data. Oh, oh, good. Okay, no, I'm sorry, wrong link. But our good friend in the industry, Mark Rogers, W. Rogers, GoFundMe. Um, he is, well known in the industry, well respected by a lot of folks, and he's got some medical issues that he's coming up against. So, if you are interested in helping Mark in any way, shape, or form, he is would be most appreciative of your assistance. And I did tell a couple of friends of mine who are friends with him that I would mention it on the stream here. No obligation, but it is available. They have, wow. Okay, the last time I looked at this, there was only about 15,000 in here, but they're looking for $100,000 goal. I don't know what his insurance situation is like, but obviously an extended hospital stay or something like that is going to have ancillary or non-insured costs, rent, you know, family members needing, help. Um, uh, oh, he's going to be moved to a rehab unit where he'll do occupational and physical therapy. It's $10,000 per day, and insurance is only covering 5 days of therapy. um, so yeah, there you go. So, oh, he suffered whiplash, broke his neck, and is currently recovering in the hospital. So, I didn't know if they'd updated this since I'd seen that, but they did. Um, so yeah, he had an accident. Whiplash is a pain in the ass, and he's got a broken neck. So it's going to take him some time to get back and walking around. So, um, anyway, the article that I was looking at was, where is it? I just had it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Here we go. So Jerry Gamblin was the one I actually had mentioned. He looked and did a review of 2024 CDE data. There we go. He said the ended. Okay, so he's saying 40,000. The numbers that CDE.MITRE.org had was like, um, I forget what it was. Let's see. Uh, they said 29 and they haven't put the last bit in there. So he's saying we're going to get another 11,000 or so like we did in Q2. Um, he may have more insight than I know into it. So um, he said on average there were 108 CVEs per day. May had the highest number of CVEs, which tracks with Q2. Being 11,000, that's in Q. That's like straight into Q2. So April, May, June, right? Uh, they had 5,000 or 12.5% of all CVEs happened in May. Why is that? Why May? What is the deal with May being so popular about Q2? I don't know. Tuesdays emerged as the leading publishing days, accounting for almost 10,000 CVEs or 24.3% of all published CVEs. So they published them on Tuesday, which is great. Well, not great, but it's better than a Friday, right? May 3rd recorded the most CVEs in a single day. 824 CVEs got published that day. What was so important about May 3rd? I wonder if we can find that out. Let's see. May 3rd. What? May 3rd was probably a Tuesday, ironically enough. Yeah, let me scroll up. May no, May 3rd was a Friday. Okay, well that doesn't track, but um, CVs per month, 800. Yeah, so we had 6.5%. So we got 12.5%, 5,000 total in May. We had another big bounce here in November, which is interesting considering it's a short month for most United States and most folks in the U.S. May is the end of the year for many universities. Yeah, could it really be that many academics are trying to publish so they can get their papers filed? That's interesting. A lot of CS people trying to get their papers published for conference or what have you. The other thing is May is what is that? May isn't May around the same time that they start doing CFPs for like Black Hat and DEF CON and them? I don't know. Maybe. Um, CVEs by day of week. So yeah, Tuesday's the most there, followed by Wednesday and then Thursday and then Friday. People actually posted on Saturday and Sunday too. That's peak PR right there. That's some unhappy PR people having to push out or release something on a Saturday. That's interesting. I wonder if what they consider published. Did they contact the CNA and they go by the date the email was sent, or I mean, who's working on a Saturday posting up a vulnerability? I mean, that's awful. That's rough. Um, top 10 CPE publishing days. Okay, so yeah, May, July, May, October. Okay, so top four or top three of the 5 days in the year that had the most updates was on. Sorry, I'm just looking. So it was a Friday and a Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday. And then July 9th was another Tuesday. Okay, so with the exception of a Friday, Friday the 3rd of May, everything else was a Tuesday. Um, that's really odd. For the seventh consecutive year since 2020, did I post this up? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Record high 40,009 CVEs published, marking a 38.83% increase from 2023. That means 15.32% of all CVEs released occurred in the previous year. That's that's impressive. Impressive. And considering you know, we're going to continue that course here. So yeah, we got that bump in May, and then it bumped again in September, October timeframe. It's interesting. It was flat last year mostly. I mean, it went up at a decent clip in 2023. So if this holds and we have another 15% found in the year, we're looking at what 60-ish thousand CVEs in 2025, 70,000. That'll be 15% above the 40,000. So yeah, we're looking at like 70, 80,000 CVEs. Um, yeah, geez. So what does that mean? I mean, where's all that going to come from? You know, the two data sets that we've looked at so far about how if we're looking at that other guy's data, which was the vulnerability info guy. he's his numbers are a little off. His numbers don't match the nice. No, I don't want to do that. Thank you. His numbers are off by five about 4,000, 5,000. Oh, here we go. There's a better number. So yeah, he's in the 37,000 range for 2024. So he may not have access to most updated data. He's using what was available from MITRE, so he'll have to update his spreadsheet, which will put him just right about a little above, just about even with what he mentioned is last year. That's kind of interesting. Um, I do not want that. Go back to that. All right. So 231 vulnerabilities achieved a perfect 10 score. I have problems with that because you know there was already, what was it, scorecarding? No. Lowest recorded was a 1.6. Okay, what's a 1.6? Let's see. A vulnerability classified as problematic in Music Shelf 1 and 1.1 on Android, affected by this vulnerability. Unknown functionality of the IO Fabric SDK Android Java of the component SHA-1 handler. Okay, so 1.6. Wow. With a 3.0, a 3.1 on the CVSS 3.1, or I'm sorry, CVSS 3.1 has it as must be physical, high, user uninteracted, confidentiality is low. Okay, so that big nothing burger there. So somebody got some 10-point font for that. Who figured it out? Who found it? Uh, somebody did. Somebody did. Open source world's been complaining about lots of CVEs from automation that are being filed without human validation. You know what? Walt, that reminds me of something. What was that? What was it? Linux started posting up Linux. Yeah. Yes. When did this happen? Was this in July? Or was this February 2024? Okay, so the Linux kernel achieved a significant milestone. It had been authorized as CNA in February of 2024. I'm wondering if, because it became a CNA, I remember there being an article, Walt, you jogged my memory, about a bunch of vulnerabilities being logged against the Linux kernel. Wish I had a better. Uh, yes. Um, yeah, people are posting CDEs to get numbers. A lot of people in bug bounty programs are now asking for that too, especially if the company that they're submitting them to is a CNA as well. Because they're doing it for the additional. Well, I won't speak to the motivation. I mean, obviously there's some cash in it, but um, they're looking for resume creds, right? There may also be, so if you submit something to Microsoft and you ask for a CDE, or you might something to Google and it's part of their bug bounty program and you ask for a CDE for that, there's an internal process that must go on for the CNA to issue a CDE, and there's a legitimacy when you're given CDE number for that, because the idea is it's almost like you're now on the hook to fix it, right? CVE, whatever, 2024 41090, whatever, because it's been given CVE number, it's almost like giving it a name. Like every vulnerability now has a name, dirty cow, or, lopsided rabbit, or whatever. Giving it a name or giving it legitimacy by giving it a CVE means that now people care more. right? So there might be more of an impetus for companies to fix an issue. And it may be a 4.3 or something like that, but it still is, it's not, there's a buffer overflow in this library. It's CVE 2024 41090 is, one second. Okay, thank you, honey. But so instead of a missing verification, or some kind of buffer overflow, it's just a buffer overflow in the library. But when it's got a CVE number attached to it, or when it's been given, filthy umbrella or whatever a name, it has more of an air legitimacy to it, or it has we care enough about this that we're going to fix it because it has a number, or why hasn't this been fixed? And so, and maybe perhaps part of the CVE process is what are you going to do about it? What's the process to fix? Until you get more information out of it, like what's affected by that, who the vendor is, what versions are affected. Here's the fixes for it. Here's what you need to do to fix it or address it or have a workaround for it. So um, cool. Well, yeah. Well, to your point, yeah, definitely resume creds. And everybody wants that 10-point font, right? From what I understand, some CDE authorities don't require much in the way of validation. Some don't require POC, making it showing that it is a security issue. Yeah, and I think you see some of that with bug bounty as well. Somebody will submit something because they feel that there's an impact there, but they don't understand necessarily what's going on behind it because a lot of times making that thing happen can actually be detrimental to the organization where you're trying to submit that vulnerability to. So yeah, there's a lot there. If you see me at a conference, we'll have an adult beverage, and I can talk to you about that some more. Um, I want to be. 2025 has been interesting so far. I've actually opened myself up a little bit on internet about trying to find a job, and I'm starting to police what I say because I don't know who's actually watching the stream. So trying to um, be a little more circumspect in that as we're going along. So um, I'm gonna go get dinner because my wife just texted me and said dinner is ready, and I'm hungry because I worked out today. I have some. I have made some New Year's resolutions. One of those being I ran 335 kilometers or a little over 180 miles last year, and hoping to hit 200 miles this year, which is roughly 350 kilometers. So working on that. And so yeah, um, probably going to drop Twitter because I don't know why the hell it's going on. So I will be probably shutting that down the next few weeks because YouTube just works. And unfortunately, I don't want to be trying to troubleshoot things while I'm trying to stream as well. So I'll just put that out on Discord in the next few weeks, and people can join us on YouTube as well. So yeah, I'm gonna try to be back on Friday. I'm gonna start up, looking at things like Proxmox again, and looking at malware, and maybe I'll start up my AI ML training, and we'll all go through that together, and everybody can see what's going on with that. But if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, hit us up on Discord. You can hit us up. It's discord.gg/breaksec. And ran around Washington State in a month. Crap. My wife created she has a recipe for something called enchilada casserole, which is really, really good. And so I can smell it, and it's invading my nose holes, and my tummy's going like, "Eat, you dumbass, eat." And so I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna say thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining me in 2025. We're gonna have some great interviews. I'm working on some interviews now. Miss Berlin, Mr. Betcher will be back, of course. Uh, Not this weekend because I'm flying out to New York on Sunday, but maybe the next following weekend we'll get them on to hang out. I'm on Blueski. Yes, I am on Blueski. I think you look at brianbreak.com or something. I validated the domain, so I've logged in with my domain. But yeah, so you can find me on Blueski. I'm still on Twitter, but I haven't been on there in a couple of weeks, and I'm on Reddit. So if you want to come and chat me up on Reddit, that's fine too, and the Discord. So cool. Everyone have a great day, great week. Take care of yourselves, and yeah, as I'm fond of saying, take care of yourself because you're the only you have. Okay. Bye, y'all. Take care.